This video is sponsored by Recharge. Hey guys, Chris here. In this video, we are doing the Motorway range test in the Hyundai Ioniq 5 long range all-wheel drive with the new and updated battery, which now is 77.4 kilowatt hours net capacity versus the old one, which was 72.6 kilowatt hours. So today we're gonna see just how far this car can go on a full charged battery on a motorway at motorway speed, so 120 kilometers an hour or 75 miles per hour. And we did this test with the old car when that was new, and I was a bit disappointed with the range and the consumption. And today's conditions are quite similar to when we did that test, but it's a little bit colder. It's around 2 degrees Celsius today versus around 9 to 11 degrees Celsius when we did that old test. So it's going to be very interesting to see if we can compare, the results directly, because the colder it is, the worse the consumption. The warmer it is, the better it is for range. So yeah, I think we're gonna go to 90% stated charge here, and then we'll disconnect, and I'll see you guys on the road.
Highly gifted, my jacket's thrifted. Watch me get a pattern shifted, just acting different. Living in my minutes, I'm catalytic. That's why they love to jack the style like it's on a Civic.
We are now Oscar Mike, and we've only been on the road for about 16 minutes, but I just had to update you guys because this weather today is just spectacular. I mean, there isn't a cloud on the sky. It's really nice, and I'm just happy. It makes me glad. I'm just smiling because of this weather, because it's so darn nice. I don't think we've had sun in quite a bit. It's been like a little bit gray lately. But okay guys, we are now on our way, and we're now heading northward on the E6 motorway north of Oslo, and we're now passing the Minnesundbrua, and we can see the windsock here on our right side. Yeah, it had a little bit of wind there, but nothing too bad. We can take a look to our left at the actual lake, and yeah, there are a little bit of waves. So I mean, you can hear it from the windscreen also, and from the car. Like, there is wind noise hitting the car, and that is because, according to the wind map, we have a headwind of about 2 meters per second. And looking at our consumption, yeah, you can see it on our consumption, 27.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. But hopefully, once we get to our turnaround point and we start, heading backwards with a tailwind, we should, lower the consumption. We should have a little bit better consumption. But guys, I haven't driven this car since it came out about a year and a half ago, and I'm really liking it. It's really comfortable and quiet on the motorway, and this with the new adaptive frequency suspension, yeah, it's really nice, because the last time I drove an Ioniq 5, it was really wallowy and boat-like and really soft. But this seems to have better body control, but still maintaining that level of comfort, even though we are on 20-inch wheels, not 21-inch, 20-inch wheels. So yeah, really nice to drive on a motorway, quiet and comfortable seats, and yeah, just a pleasure so far. So I'm really digging this. But okay guys, let's head northward, and I'll update you once we get to our turnaround point. We're gonna take a look at the consumption and see if it's higher or lower than.
Highly gifted, my jacket's thrifted. Watch me get a pattern shifted, just acting different. Living in my minutes, I'm catalytic. That's why they love to jack the style like it's on a Civic.
Okay, here we are. We are now approaching our turnaround point, which is where the 4-lane motorway ends north of Oslo. So we've covered a little more than 108 kilometers now, and average consumption, guys, is now down to 26.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So it's going to be very interesting to see if that will drop once we, turn around now and start moving towards Oslo, because in theory it should, because the wind map says we do have a headwind of 2 meters per second on our way northward. But the wind map isn't always correct, and the feeling I have from the last, 40, 50 minutes is that it's been dead calm. So we may not see much of an improvement, but hopefully, crossing my fingers, because if I remember correctly, when we did this, last time with the old car, the smaller battery pack, it was also on 20-inch wheels, and we did 25.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So if we could match that with, a little bit colder weather, and I mean, the roads are dry today. We have patches like this where it's a little bit damp and wet because the snow is melting from the sides of the road, but it's 99% dry on the road. So I don't think we're going to have to it's just dry. Those are the conditions. So we're now southbound on the E6 motorway, and we have about an hour on the road until we get there. And once we get to the chargers, we are going to connect and see what kind of charging speed we get passively. I'm not navigating to the charger because in this test, we want to test the passive capacity of while charging, while not activating the preheating of this battery. We do preheating and charging test in another test, but in this test, we're doing the active, the passive heating of the battery. So yeah.
Highly gifted, my jacket's thrifty. Watch me get a pattern shifted, just acting different. Living in my minutes, I'm catalytic. That's why they love to jack the style like it's on a Civic.
We're now back at our starting point, and we're gonna take this exit to go to the SO. So this off ramp, and then this exit on the off ramp, and then we have the SO right up there. So let's stop the timer here at 1 hour 52 minutes, and then take a look at the consumption. 25.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Wow, that is not bad. I mean, it's not the lowest, but considering that that is basically what we did when we tested this car a year and a half ago in much milder conditions, I think that is quite good actually, and most definitely we will be getting better range. But first off, guys, we're going to connect to a charger here. We're going to choose one of these 225 kilowatt chargers and see if we could top it out. Yes, I know that this car peaks at like 235, 239, but yeah, hopefully we're going to be able to max this charger out. So the Ioniq 5 has its charge port on the rear right 3/4. So we're now connected. Let's walk over to the charger. But it's so icy here. Look at this, guys. Yeah, I can't wait till winter to be done, but now we are charging. Okay, so let's see what kind of speed we get now. So we're connected here. This is a 225 kilowatt charger. We are currently at 22%. We've been connected for about a minute, but we're only getting 70 kilowatts. Look at that, guys, 68.9. Yeah. Yeah, that is not too good. That is quite low speed. It's climbing a little bit. Yeah, let's take a look at it in a second. But yeah, so we're the only car charging here. As you guys can see, there are two of those Alpitronics hyperchargers there, and then we have one here and then one behind us. So this charging station should be at full capacity. It's the car that is limiting. And what I said, earlier in the video is that we are doing this test here in the Motorway range test, this charging test, passive heating. And the reason we do that is to do a passive charging test. I do, a active charging test twice, like with these cars, 10 to 80% charging time and charging speed test, which will be the next video. Then we preheat the battery, we put the charger into the destination, and we also do the Norwegian high-speed run where we also, put the charger into a destination. But in this test, we only do passive heating to see what happens if you forget to put in your destination. What if you can't find a destination? Like this charging station here was impossible to find because the navigation system in the Ioniq 5 isn't the best. I tried Recharge SO, Recharge Gardermoen, and it's called Recharge AS and then the street address in this navigation system. But most other cars are able to find this station. So, it's not only like, oh, you should put the charger into the car. It's not always easy to find it, as I've demonstrated in the past 4 or 5 cars I tested. Especially with these Asian cars, the navigation systems seem to be very, very lacking, especially with destinations and chargers. So let's hop in and check the speed. We're now at 28%, and as you guys can see, the speed is a little bit higher at 78 kilowatts, but we're nowhere near close to that peak charging speed. And at 29%, I don't think we're gonna get close to like 240. Maybe we're like 220 or 210, but still we're getting a little bit higher speed, and that's probably because that the car is, heating the battery a little bit at least when we are first connected to the charger. But yeah, passive heating with this car, yeah, it's not its strongest suit. Before I jump into today's results and I reveal how far this car was able to go on a single charge, I just want to give a huge thanks to today's video sponsor, Recharge. Recharge is an awesome charging company and actually the biggest charge point operator in Norway and one of the biggest in Northern Europe. In Norway, Sweden, and Finland, they have like 4,000 charging points. They are awesome. So if you want to check out your closest recharge charger, go to the link down below and just find out where it is if you want to support the channel. So again, a huge thanks to Recharge for sponsoring today's video. Okay, now for the results. So this Ioniq 5 has a net battery capacity of 77.4 kilowatt hours. We take that number divided by today's consumption, 25.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, subtract about 3% in heat loss, we get a theoretical range under today's conditions of 294 kilometers, which... oh, it's not great. It's not great, to be honest, guys. If we look at the EV6, that is better. It's more aerodynamic. It's a little bit lower. So this car's shape, size, and ground clearance, and also the 20-inch wheels does not help the consumption. So I'm still a bit disappointed about this not being, better at traveling long distance. But with that being said, the new battery is an upgrade. We do have about 17 kilometers more range compared to the other test. But if we also consider that the other test was done in warmer or milder temperatures, and also the roads were completely dry, today we had maybe like, I don't know, 5% of wet and damp, shouldn't, impact the consumption too much. But still, I think if the conditions were similar, maybe we would have been able to get 25, maybe even 30 kilometers more. I'm pretty sure that this car would be able to go in excess of 300 kilometers on a charge with, well, those conditions as we had in that test. So I don't know. I really do like this car. It's nice to drive on a motorway. It's comfortable, even though the adaptive cruise control in this car in particular, I think it has to do with the calibration. It's just completely wonky because it wants to hug the shoulder, and once it hugs the shoulder, it disengages the auto steer. Yeah, we'll see how this fares in the Norwegian high-speed run when we go on a longer trip. But everything considered, this new upgrade is welcome. And I will be testing the rear-wheel drive version hopefully soon when it gets even milder, and I have even higher hopes for that car. So guys, let me know what you think down below, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below, and for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.